Hola, good people. Thank you for coming to see me today. Another wonderful, sunshiny day. Today, I just want to talk to you about something that I've personally experienced and I'm putting to practice in my own life. And that is why. The why doesn't matter. And I have to tell myself that. The why doesn't matter. So, what I mean by that is when you think about how you interact and when you interact with people, being an empathetic or empathic person, we tend to sympathize, empathize, try to be very understanding of people's situations as it relates to how they behave. So, for example, it was very important to me a lot of times when people did something to me or just did something that affected me. I would always say, like, I wonder why they did that. Why did they do that? It was important for me to figure out what caused them, what was the reasoning behind, what made them do what they do. What was the motivation behind it, or the reason. I shouldn't say the motivation. A lot of times it's just the reason. For example, let's just take something like um I don't know, someone in a relationship mistreats you, and you tend to say, well, you know what, they don't really mean it. They grew up in a household where they weren't really taught how to communicate with their words, so they fight. So I understand why he hit me instead of talk to me. Okay, this is not my life, please, it's not. But that is some people's life. And a lot of times when we look at, let's say, for a battered woman or people in abusive relationships, the reason why people stay in those relationships and put up with that type of behavior is because they feel like they understand the why. They feel like they understand what has caused that person to be that way. So I urge you to be mindful of allowing yourself to get caught up in the why and consequently accepting behavior that is unacceptable. It's lovely to be compassionate. It is commendable to make the effort to understand why someone does the things that they do. But think of it this way. And I try to tell my daughter this all the time. She also suffers from depression. And, a lot of times she'll say that, well, I can't do this because of this, and I can't do that because of that. And I say, you know what? You're absolutely right. That is a valid reason why you can't get up on time, or that's a valid reason why you're tired, or that's a valid reason why you find it difficult to blah, blah, blah. But the truth of the matter is, no one cares. Not because they don't want to care, but the way that this world works, no one has the time or can afford to care to the point that it disrupts what they have to do. So what I mean is, let's say, okay, so I don't know, I suffer from depression or I suffer from anxiety. So let's say I have to go to work today and I wake up in the morning and I'm having a bad day and the anxiety has hit me, or I'm having a crash, or I'm just having a down day. Maybe the first time you call and you tell your boss, hey, I'm having a bad day, I'm going to take a day off, I need to get myself together, it's okay. But if you continue to do that, it doesn't matter if they understand why you feel the way that you do, or if they understand why this is going on in your life. It doesn't really matter. The rules are that you must be at work on time. The rules are that you must have attendance there at, for a certain amount of days before you're laid off. Unfortunately, that is how the world is. So you have to be very, very mindful that although it helps you understand something, don't let it make you understand something to the point that you feel like you have to excuse unacceptable behavior because you understand why someone is this or why someone did that, or you know what, they grew up in a bad family and blah, blah, blah. All that does is make you focus on looking past the unacceptable behavior and continuing to accept it. So the why is only important for you to gain insight as to what motivates people, what moves people, what causes certain behavior, but don't let it be the reason why you continue to accept something that you don't like. That's never a reason. There is never a reason. And the reason why I say this is I've been through some terrible things in my life. I've been through some things that, would really, put most people down. And I say this all the time. I have a right to be a straight bitch every day. I've been through some things that would make most people bitter, angry, hating life. Okay, so if I walk around here and I treat people the way I have a right to feel, does that change the rules? Does it change the rules that say you shouldn't be rude to people? Does it change the rules that says you don't just walk up to someone and smack them in the face? You just don't do that. It doesn't matter why I feel the way that I do. The rules of life have not changed. So don't get caught up in that. Why just serves for information. Hey, I understand why. Maybe that just serves for next time when you encounter a person like that, you can kind of see it coming. Feel for them, pray for them, whatever, but just because you feel for someone does not mean that you have to be subject to their behavior that is caused by what they've been through. So don't get caught up in the why. The why is not really that important. Unfortunately, in this real world, that's the long and short of it. We were talking about me and my daughter were talking about older people, and we were talking about how, first of all, in this culture, we don't really honor our elders. However, we excuse them. So there's been a lot of times that we've been in the store or we've been someplace in public, and older people just don't respect, the line, or they don't respect speaking to you in a certain manner, or they feel like they have some sort of right because they are older. And a lot of times I've encountered a lot of older people who think that they can speak to you any kind of way because they're on this certain level. Okay, so my thing is, you are on that level. And when you're on that level at that age, you should know better. If a child at 3 is rude, they get popped. They get punished. They get put in the corner. You, as an 80-year-old woman, being rude, why is that acceptable? You are older, you know what the rules are, and you, out of all people, should be following them. So it doesn't excuse behavior because of anything. Because of anything. Except for maybe, okay, let's talk about people who are autistic or things like that who can't help that. But if your mind is functioning in a way where, you know what I'm saying, depression doesn't mean that you're unintelligent. Depression doesn't mean that you can't comprehend. So that part of your brain is not challenged. You understand the rules. You understand what is right and wrong. You understand what is fair. You understand what you like and what you don't like. And that should pretty much be the end all be all. I don't think that people should accept any type of behavior from me because I have suffered in my lifetime. I don't think that people deserve that when I go to work that I can take out all of my lifetime of hurt on them. Yeah, you can understand why, but does it make it acceptable? It does not. So, I just urge you to not get so caught up in somebody's why that you subject yourself to behavior that is unacceptable and unwanted. It will create stress in your life, and those people actually need to be cleansed from your life. You can love people from a distance. You can pray for them. You can, when you interact with them, keep it short. Be kind to them when you interact with them, but limit it. You have to understand that people need to also understand that although they have had past experiences in their life that make them the way that they are, the rules of life do not change for anyone. If it is unacceptable for someone who doesn't suffer from depression, it's unacceptable for someone who does. It does not matter. So you have to realize that depression doesn't give you an excuse. Someone's faulty past does not give them an excuse. There are rules in life that we all must follow regardless of what we have been through or what we want. It doesn't matter. If you Say you like this car, you really like it, and all your life you've never had a car, and all of a sudden there's that car that you want sitting out front and you steal it. Do you go to jail or you don't? Are they going to say, oh, well, I understand. She's never had a car. She really wanted this car all her life. Okay, she stole it. I understand. You can go and you can keep that other person's car. It just doesn't work that way. You're going to go to jail. So even though people understand your why, or you understand other people's whys, there's still a level of acceptable behavior that you must hold people to. So don't get caught up in the why. All right? So I don't even have a gem to drop on you right now. This just came out of nowhere, and it just was on my heart to say it to you today. So I guess the gem that I'm going to drop on you is it's okay to look out for number one. It's not considered selfish in the way that people say it's selfish. You were put on this earth and you only have yourself. Although you were born not knowing anything and you were nurtured and cared for by other people, it is your right to take care of you first. Do not accept behavior that you don't like. You don't have to have a reason why except for you don't want it. You are the master of you. You get to decide what you like, what you will take, what you will accept, and it doesn't matter if someone else doesn't like that, because they are the master of themselves. So they can decide what they're going to do with their body once you decide that you don't want to be involved with them anymore. So you always look out for you first. And it's not a selfish thing. You know that they always say that if you're going down in a plane crash and it's you and your child, who do you put the mask on first? Yourself. Not because you're selfish, but because you will not be able to help anyone else if you're dead. So take care of yourself first. Be in tune with what you like, what you don't like, and don't feel that you have to apologize for anything that you do in order to take care of yourself. All right? So take care of number one first. Thank you so much for coming by. Thank you for listening. Hopefully this has helped you. It's something that I have to keep in mind as well. Enjoy the day. You know, I got my sunshine going on. I hope you guys are smiling because you are good people. Have a good life.